Yo, what's going on, guys? BigShawn here, doing a video on why I like Queen Walk Valk attack. You may have noticed that's kind of my preferred strategy. Most of my videos are using that attack. So I just kind of wanted to walk through some of my reasons of why I like that attack. It's not going to be a guide of how to do the attack, but at the end of the video I will give some tips on how to successfully pull off the strategy. Now before I get into it, I just want to give a couple of disclaimers. I'm not saying this is an OP strategy. I'm not saying it works on every base. So, use your caution. It is base specific, and it still requires planning, skill, execution, all that. So, all right. So with that, let me get into this attack. Now, I actually made a list here of 10 things I like about this attack. That you can tell how much I like this attack if I can come up with that many things on a list here. So number one on my list is it's fun. It's just a fun attack. I love seeing the Valkyrie get in the core of the base and just smashing the core. I'm playing some videos in the background here of various attacks I've done, so you can just watch the Valkyrie as they just kind of plow through the base, especially when you get them under rage. It's a lot of fun to see that. And that's one of my tips actually for people out there is go with an attack that you like, that's fun, that works for you. That may not be this attack. Everyone's different. Maybe you're good with ground. Some people are good with air. Some people like queen charge. Some people are good with golem entry. Go with what works for you. This attack may or may not be what works for you, but it does seem to work for me. All right, number two on my list of why I like this Queen Walk Valk attack is it's basically anti-meta. Right now the meta is La Lune. So most people are using, at least half of the attacks are probably La Lune attacks, and most of the defenses are anti-La Lune defenses. And what a lot of people do is they'll stack all their like archer towers, wizard towers on one side of the base, and then they'll put all the air defenses on the opposite side. And in some cases, that sets up a really good opportunity for like a queen walk. If you can queen walk and get all those archer towers and wizard towers on one side, and then send your Valkyrie on the other side, you have a good chance of getting a 3-star. All right, number three on my list for Valks is another advantage is they're mostly immune to traps, and the queen really doesn't matter. In comparison with hogs and loons, they do get wrecked by traps. Skelly traps, giant bombs, Tesla. They do, it is a big problem for hogs and loons. Valkyrie, it's not really a problem. They just kind of chew right through it. And then same thing with the queen. On a hog or a loon attack, you really have to prioritize the queen. On a Valkyrie attack, I really don't care where the queen is. The Valkyrie will get it, or my queen will get the queen. My queen will get the enemy queen. And so I can basically attack from any side of the base. I don't have to attack on the side where the queen is at. So that's a big advantage there. All right. I don't know if I'm going to go through all 10. Too many. I'll just maybe do a couple more. But number four, I kind of like the flow of the attack, where I like how it kind of builds. Like right at the beginning, I'm not dropping all my troops. I'm starting with a queen walk. I'm dealing with the CC. I'm making a funnel. I'm kind of letting the attack progress a little bit. And then once I'm ready, boom, I just spam everything in, and I kind of like try to crush the core. Versus some other attacks like an avalanche attack, where you're almost dropping everything almost at the start. You're dropping a bunch of golems, a bunch of wizards. And you got to get all the timing down right at the start. You got the clan castle coming out. You got you're dealing with enemy heroes. It's all happening like right at the beginning. The first minute of the raid. There's a lot going on in like a ground-based attack, like an avalanche attack. But this attack, the first minute, it's all just setting up the queen walk. So I do kind of like that. And then kind of dovetailing from there, number five, I actually do like planning the queen walk phase of the attack. I do spend quite a bit of time on that, and it's kind of fun. I like trying to predict where she's going to go, think about where I'm going to encounter the CC, how many, where am I where will I need to rage at. I like doing that because then it gives me like at least some confidence that have a reasonable idea where she's going to go and what I can expect, and you can kind of plan it out to some degree. You know, so I do like doing that, and that gives me some confidence. So, okay, that's my top 5. Let me scroll through 6 through 10 to see if there's any interesting ones here. I'll mention a couple more here. Another thing I like is the second phase is fairly simple. So the Valk deployment it's kind of a spam. I will admit it is kind of a spam deployment. Versus like a Queen Charge La Lune. The second phase is pretty complicated. You got Hounds, you got Loons, you got Rage, you got Haste, and they're all kind of going down at the same time. It is a more complicated to a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of moving pieces on that type of attack. Let's see. Usually it's a reliable, this is number 7. Usually it's a reliable safe 2-star on a Valk attack. As long as your initial pathing is through the Town Hall, you'll at least get a 2-star. Whereas with like a Hog or a Loon attack, if you don't get all the defenses down and your Loons and your Hogs die out, you could be in trouble. You might miss the Town Hall. Let's see. Less spells. Valks need less spells. That's another plus. I do like to give them a jump and maybe a heal, but they can get by with maybe one spell or sometimes no spells, but it kind of depends on the base. Whereas, you know, Loons and Hogs, you definitely need Hogs for sure. You need heals for them, and Loons, you know, you need haste. To Valks, it's not as dependent on spells, so you can sometimes, if needed, you can give more spells to the on the Queen Walk. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. So I went through most of my top 10 here. Some reasons why I like the attack, and then let me real quickly give my advice on when and how to use this attack. Now the key, like I mentioned earlier, it is base specific. You cannot use this on every base. The main thing I look for is walkable defenses, and preferably I want to be able to get like 10 defenses with my queen. You might be thinking to yourself, that's insane. Who would build a base with 10 walkable defenses? Well, guys, you'd be surprised to find practically every war, I find a base like that where there's that many walkable defenses. So it makes the base selection fairly simple. I basically just scroll through, and if I can find a base that has a lot of walkable defenses, I'll consider it. And at least for the Queen Charge phase, you know, that's going to be, or the Queen Walk, I should say, that's good for the Queen Walk. And then I'll start looking at the second phase and see how I'm going to set up the second phase. So that's kind of the main criteria. I'm not going to go into a lot more detail on how to do the attack. I think each person has to kind of figure it out on their own. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. Hopefully that's helpful, and I will catch you guys next time.